All right, so let's go through the assessment here, your summative assessment for the first part of the USA and Canada unit. So what are we doing? What is your assessment going to be? Your group will get a region of the United States or Canada. We talked about 8 different regions in our notes, and we've done some more of that here the last couple days, or last week in class. There are 7 regions. We're going to get rid of the eastern provinces as one of the regions to do because there's not as much information. So the 3 regions of Canada that you'll be able to choose from: Canadian North, Western provinces, and the Heartland. And then in the United States, the 4 regions: the West, the South, the Midwest, and the Northeast. Your group will be getting one of those regions. You will need to research and describe how the physical and environmental features of the USA and Canada affect how people live and where they live. All right, when we think of physical features, we think of mountains, rivers, bodies of water, etc. Environmental factors or environmental features would be climate type, weather, rain, snow, etc. So what do I need to put into my presentation? First, okay, describe and analyze how and where people live in your region. See, I got to go back and edit this. It's a little typo here. But how and where people live in your region. For example, where are major cities in your region and why are they located there? Okay, this kind of goes back to your USA and Canada map. Where are major cities of your region and why are they located there? Next, how does the climate impact where and how people live? How does the climate impact where and how people live? That could be things like the weather, the seasons, the temperatures. You have some world and USA climate maps that you've worked with last week as well. Next, how do the physical features of the USA and Canada affect human activity and settlement? So how do people live based on the physical features? Could be because of resources that are available. Maybe people have certain jobs, or they're near bodies of water or major landforms like mountains or rivers. Okay, all those physical features go into have an effect on how people live. And then how does the environmental features of the USA and Canada affect human activity? Okay, so how does this impact human activity and settlement? Again, how does this impact how we live? Jobs we have, what we wear, food we have, that sort of thing. Activities, recreational activities, that sort of thing. Next, I want you to accurately use 5 of the 7 vocabulary words from this unit. Okay, 5 of the 7. They were desertification, climate, seaport, Great Lakes, urban, rural, and migration. All right. Note, climate, seaport, urban, rural, and migration can easily be put into all presentations regardless of the region. That's 5. That's how many you need. There's no excuses. Get the 5 in there. Another thing I want to add, don't just give the definitions at the end of the presentation. I've seen that before. All right. They need to be embedded, or they need to be included throughout your presentation. Okay. For example, if you have the Heartland region, you might say Toronto, which is in Ontario, is a major urban area of your region. And then 3, solve how people can adapt to their surroundings based on the physical features and the environment of their region of the United States and Canada. So you're going to come up with some sort of conclusion or talk about how people adapt to their surroundings and ways that maybe they can live a more efficient life because of their physical features, okay, and their environment. Next, the criteria for a successful project. Again, kind of just a similar, slides 3 and 4 here are pretty similar. But the goal for this project, the student is able to describe how the physical features and the environment of the USA and Canada impact human activity. So where are people and places in your region of North America? Okay, what is the relationship between the environment and where people live? How does the physical features and the environment of the USA and Canada affect people and human activity? So you see here we got some 3 to 5 examples here, 3 to 5 different statistics here. Okay, just giving some more criteria for what success will look like on this project. And then how can people adapt to their surroundings? 2 to 3 research-based solutions for how people can adapt to their surroundings in your region. I'll proofread. Here we go here. Again, I need to see 5 of the 7 vocab words accurately used in your project. What are the expectations for my actual presentation? It needs to be at least 2 minutes in length. It must be 2 minutes. Okay? No more than 5 minutes. Keep it 2 to 5. As much as this might be a topic that interests me, I understand you need to understand that your audience are 8th grade students. Anything longer than 5 minutes, you're probably going to lose your audience. Keep it under 5, more than 2. Know your stuff. You are getting plenty of time to work on this. Use note cards. Use note cards. Use note cards. Avoid reading off of the projector. We can all read. We stand up in front of the class, we think we know it, and then we instantly fall in love with the projector and just start staring at it. Okay? We can read, use note cards, speak to the audience, not the projector. Sharing the workload. Another thing, grades are not necessarily the same per group. Work with your group only. Group sizes should be 1 or 2. There can be a group of 3 if the numbers allow for a class. So like if a class has 27, there'd be 12 groups of 2 and then 1 group of 3. And then use bullet points. Okay, in your presentation, paragraphs are not good. Use bullet points. You should say more than what is on your slides. You should say more than what is on your slides. Here's some helpful information. I'll just talk about a couple of them. You'll have these available to you. Finding out an average temperature in the winter and summer for a couple states or provinces will help your project. Same thing for snowfall and rainfall. Find some statistics that will help you. Maybe you take the average temperature in January and the average temperature in July. That kind of gives your audience an idea of what it's like in the winter and in the summer. Use the assignments from class this past week. The resources map is linked in right here. All right, that'd be a great thing to use. Okay. Just search major resources of California, major resources of Texas, major resources of Minnesota, major resources of British Columbia. That's going to help you find things. All right. Also use the resources map that I mentioned here. That's going to help you in trying to find out how people are able to interact with their environment and the physical features. For example, oil is common in Texas, and that provides many jobs for people living in Texas. Here's the grading scale. Notice it doesn't take much to really get into this P range, but there is an option to get an insufficient evidence or an IE. You need to show information, and you need to show your audience and your teacher that you know this stuff. Most of you are going to be in the P and the M, all right, the partially meets or the meets. But for this unit, there wasn't with the last test we just took. Exceeds is an option, okay? And if you want to have an exceeds, it needs to meet these, all right? That includes having it be creative and have it engage the audience. If it's just a bunch of information, it's going to be hard to be an exceeds. You really need to make this easy for your audience to understand by being creative and making things move, but also keep it entertaining. Where do I find information? There's textbooks over by the tan bookshelf by the window. There's some great information in there. You got to look for the USA and Canada unit. Google, all right? I prefer that you look up the individual province or state in your region, not just searching Heartland. That will give you some different results. Or Western provinces. There's a lot of different ways to make regions in the USA and Canada. So I strongly recommend that you search the individual major cities or individual provinces or state. For example, search what is the average temperature in Toronto, Ontario. That will be more beneficial than searching what is the average temperature of the Heartland. And here's some more resources here. I know I'm running out of time here. They keep me to 10 minutes, so I got to keep moving. When does it due? We will start presenting at the start of class on Monday, October 7th. Okay, you will be randomly called on. All are expected to present at the start of class Monday, October 7th. Am I finished? Okay, I'm not going to go through this entire checklist, but this is a very important slide that you and your partner need to look at when you think you are done. All right, I've highlighted a couple here. Did you add any visuals? Visuals will help you tell the story of your region. Now, if you're doing the West, don't have a picture of Texas. That's in the South. So make sure it's somewhere in your region. And then have you practiced? How many times? Practice, practice, practice. That will help you with your project. I hope you have fun with this. Be creative. Trust yourself. Be confident. I know this can be scary, but have fun. Break from your comfort zone. Do your best.